3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Okay, so this is June 2020, another easy one full of frequently asked questions. 40 questions this time. Okay, so a judge cannot wear religious symbols in a courtroom because a religious symbol might indicate some kind of bias that the judge has, and the judge is supposed to be unbiased. That's the reason why he or she cannot wear a religious symbol in the courtroom. All right, on to the next one. Okay, round of applause. Right. You've seen this before. So the last 3 questions have been FAQs, frequently asked questions. You've also seen this before. "24 hours. So how long can the police hold an arrested person before they put him before a judge? And the answer is 24 hours. You've seen this before, at least for the people that have been practicing. This is one of the most frequently asked questions. Next one. All right, so one person got this wrong. So what is the region responsible for? And the region is responsible for the hospitals. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. You know this. So Grönland was last changed in 1953. And that change included the, yes, so it included that women could inherit the throne. And that's how come Margaret II is on the throne. And it also included the, back in the day, Folketing was split into Landsting and I forgot the other name. Yeah, Folketing and Landsting, and the whole thing was called Rigsdag. And in 1953, Landsting was abolished, and that was written into the Constitution as well. All right, 4 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, so we have Hobro at number 1, Kudos number 2, Ala at number 3, Martin at number 4, and Aman at number 5. Hobro has 5 correct answers in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We have 35 questions to go. This is a not so frequently asked question. Let's see how you guys do on this. And I don't think this is relevant anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to check the book. All right, I could tell. So this is one of those questions that had never been asked before. And I'm not surprised that almost half of you got this wrong. So in the 1800s, a lot of the seasoned workers were coming from Poland. Yes. On to the next one. Yes, so all the meetings in the parliament rooms, all the meetings in parliament are open to the public. So you can walk in there and go and sit and observe what's going on. All right, 2 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, round of applause. So the Folketing's ombudsman is actually kind of like a watchdog that watches, that makes sure that there's no negligence and kind of mistakes and injustice in the case handling of the public. So when the public is interacting with the public authorities, it makes sure that everything is going the way it should according to the law. This is a frequently asked question. 2 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Okay. Next one. You've seen this before. All right, round of applause. Okay, so number 10. All right, so I can see that you guys have not, well, at least 19 of you have not made that list that I recommended that you make. The question is, which of the following parties is the oldest? So make a list of all the political parties in parliament, the dates that they were created, their leaders, and how many seats they have in parliament. So it's the political parties' date that they were created and their leaders, and possibly how many seats they have in parliament, because sometimes they could ask questions like which party is biggest in parliament, or which parties have a majority in parliament. There was an election in November of last year, and I'm 99% sure that a question about the election is going to show up in the current affairs. In this case, Radical Venstre is the biggest, well, the oldest party, not the biggest. On to the next one. All right, so Eric is now number 1, Roelbro fell to number 2, Tanker number 3, Martin 4, Aman 5. 4 players reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
Got 30 questions to go. All right, so 2 people got this wrong. Question is, why was the parliamentary election in 1973 called the earthquake election? And it was because a lot of people voted for new parties, and a lot of those parties were protest parties. And they voted for them because people were protesting against bureaucracy and high taxes at the time. And yeah, apparently none of those parties that were voted into parliament at the time still exist in parliament. Anyways, only 2 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. On to the next one. Also frequently asked. The previous one was frequently asked as well. So the question is, who can be a member of a Folketing committee? And only members of parliament can be part of a parliamentary committee. Only 4 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. These are really good numbers so far. So I can see that majority of you have the frequently asked questions covered. So a round of applause. So I hope you're reading the book to cover the material for the not so frequently asked questions. So questions you've never seen before. And as usual on the website, you will find a whole bunch of those questions as well. All right, on to the next one. Eric, still number 1. Bulbul, number 2. Aman, number 3. Rahim, and Janaya Yue, 4 and 5. 3 players reached an answer streak of 6.
Excellent.
All right, we have 28 questions to go. Also FAQ. Johannes V. Jensen won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1944. 9 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. So this is a question that you must know the answer to because it has a high probability of showing up in the next test. Okay, next one. Raheem climbing the charts. Laura is back in the game with 3 in a row. Also FAQ. Okay, 9 people got this wrong. So electromagnetism was discovered by H.C. Ørsted, and actually the biggest electricity company in Denmark is named after him. So that should be a clue as to what the correct answer is in case you didn't actually know it. You just look at the names and make an educated guess, which, by the way, if you go to the exam and you see a question that you don't know the answer to, have a look at the answers and try and eliminate the ones that are obviously not the answer and then make an educated guess. All right, 9 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. This is a frequently asked question, so you need to know the answer to this. All right. 10 players just hit an answer streak of 4.
Perfect.
Next one. This was a new question. Yes, so he was the prime minister in 1993, and he was a member of the Social Democratic Party. There's a whole narrative around what was going on in 1993. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I read it recently, but I don't recall. But there were some special things going on around that time when the Social Democrats got back the power in the government. 20 people got this wrong. So way more than half of you got this wrong. This was a new question for that year. So I'm not surprised that this many people got this wrong. But like I always say, the Kahoots are for you to figure out where you have holes in your knowledge, so your weak spots. So take notes of the questions that you're not getting correct and go and plug up those knowledge holes. Okay, on to the next one. Also FAQ. Okay, so 3 people got this wrong. Anyone under the age of 15 cannot be prosecuted, even if they committed a crime in Denmark. And for 15 and above, you will be prosecuted. Next one. FAQ as well. So was the previous one as well. This exam was full of FAQs. Okay, so in Denmark, the question is basically who has the legislative power, the executive power, and the judiciary power. And legislative power is shared between the parliament and the government, so Folketing and the regering. Executive power lies with the government, and the judiciary lies with the courts. That's what this question is about. This is a frequently asked question, so you need to know the answer to this. For the 6 people that got this wrong, for the 34 people that got it right, round of applause. Okay. All right, so the Prime Minister can independently call an election even within the 4-year period. And actually, that's what happened in the last election. The election was called early. The deadline for the election would have been this year, but she called it early in November. The Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen. All right, 1 person got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one, that is a frequently asked question as well. Okay, next one. All right, so collective bargaining. This question is about collective bargaining and the parties that take part in that collective bargaining. So there are 2 unions that represent, on the one hand, the employers, and on the other hand, the employees. So the fagforenings and Arbejdsgivernes Organization. 2 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question, so you need to know the answer to this question because it has a higher probability of showing up in the next test. All right, Sunny has a streak with 19 correct answers in a row.
Wow!
Well done.
Excellent.
All right, we're halfway through now. On to the next one. Also frequently asked. Okay, so the question is about the turnout during the parliamentary elections, and it is one of the highest in the world. And 80 to 89% of people that are registered to vote actually come out and vote during the parliamentary elections. There usually are questions about the regional and communal elections, also questions about the European Parliament. And so parliamentary elections, so Folketing is the highest turnout. Second highest turnout is communal and regional elections, and the lowest turnout is the European Parliament elections. Just in case you see that question. All right, at the moment we have Eric at number 1, Aman at number 2, Rahid at number 3, Kashab 4, and Janaya UA 5. Sunny has the highest answer streak of 20.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, so at this point, people start getting explosions. So let's see what happens next. Also, FAQ. So, yes, back in the day, the 1600s, there used to be a lot of wars between Denmark and Sweden. Denmark lost most of those wars, and they had to give up some territory. One of the territories they had to give up was Halland. And Bleking, and I can't remember the last one, Skåne. I think that's the whole region. So that's the region with Malmo, like the southern region of Sweden, used to belong to Denmark. So they lost it. 5 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. That is a frequently asked question, by the way. So that's one of the questions you must know the answer to. 14 players just hit an answer streak of 6. All right, so we have 19 questions to go. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how you guys do on this. Not too bad. 1998. Storebeltsbron. Okay, so 6 people got this wrong. This is frequently asked. There are 2 bridges over Lillebelt. One of them was, I think, built in the 1930s. The second one was built in the 1970s. Can't remember the exact dates. And then there's a bridge, Storebeltsbron, over Storebelt in 1998. And there's a bridge connecting Sweden to Denmark over Øresund, and it's called Øresundsbron, and that was built in the 2000s. There are questions about those bridges. They are frequently asked questions. So just in case you come across another one of those questions, you will know the answer, hopefully, if you were actually listening to what I'm saying, which a lot of the time is not the case. But anyways, on to the next one. All right, Jen is back in the game with an answer streak of 3.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right, not too bad. Only 4 people got this wrong. FAQ as well. The commune is responsible for the libraries. Commune is also responsible for a whole bunch of other things. Go to the section of the book that talks about the commune and its responsibilities, the state and its responsibilities, the region and its responsibilities. Make a list of those responsibilities because they could ask about any one of those responsibilities. All right, next one. Janaya has the highest answer streak of 23.
This girl is on fire.
All right, well done.
Excellent.
17 questions to go. Yes, so Venstre, back in the 1900s, farmers mostly voted for Venstre. And actually, that's still the case even now. So most farmers still vote for Venstre. 10 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. They usually ask questions like this. So they ask about who typically votes for Venstre, who typically votes for the Social Democrats. All right, on to the next one. Static top 5. 10 players just hit an answer streak of 9. Question number 25. Also FAQ. Excuse me. Arne Jacobsen, famous architect and also furniture designer. He designed the chair called the Egg and some other stuff. I can't remember. But he was also the architect that helped design Aarhus and the National Bank in Denmark. All right, next one. All right, 7 players hits an answer streak of 10. Round of applause. At the moment, it's a static top 5. We have Eric, Aman, Rahim, Janaya, and Kashab. I think the only person that has moved up here is Janaya. We have 15 questions to go, so anything can happen in that top 5. You've seen this before. All right, not bad. Only 4 people got this wrong. So towards the end of the 1960s, the next generation of young people began to question traditional norms. And one of the things they questioned was the nuclear family, amongst other things. This is also frequently asked. So the 4 people that got this wrong, get to know this. Now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. Deeps is back in the game, 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Next one. This was a new question. So let's see how you guys do on this. Okay, only 8 people got this wrong. Actually, that's good. Round of applause. Well, there's not much to say about this. The queen usually lives in, the royal family lives in Amalienborg in Copenhagen. And one of the castles that they stay in when they're not in Copenhagen is Fredensborg Slot. All right, on to the next one. Static top 5. Nothing is going on in this top 5, man. Anyways, on to the next one. frequently asked as well. All right. So 1972, there was a referendum on Denmark's membership in the European Union, or EF, Europees Fellesskab back in the day. And majority voted yes. And the next year, 1973, Denmark joined the European Union. And also in 1973, they had the earthquake elections. I think that was a parliament elections year as well. So just, yeah, 1973, a whole bunch of things happened. I think also that was the year that women got the right to abort, amongst other things. I think there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened that year. But anyways, on to the next one. Menti is back in the game 3 in a row.
Perfect.
12 questions to go. You've seen this before. Yes, so C.W. Eckersberg is one of Denmark's most famous painters. His works are in SMK, actually. And he used to paint a lot of landscapes and stuff. I would recommend, if you haven't been to SMK yet, check it out. I'm actually even thinking about organizing some kind of tour there, but we'd have to pay to get in. But anyways, maybe I'll organize it. We'll see. 8 people got this wrong. This is an FAQ, a frequently asked question. You need to know the answer to this. On to the next one. Still static, top 5. Keshab has a streak with 29 correct answers in a row.
Wow!
And he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. FAQ as well. Okay, so the boys' school in the 1800s was inspired by INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN, and when they were created, majority of the students there were the children of the farmers, the children of the peasants back in the day. This is frequently asked question. A frequently asked question. There are questions also about INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN. Those questions are frequently asked. They are connected. 9 people got this wrong, so a little bit more than usual. Now you know what you don't know. Plug this knowledge gap. 31 people got this right, so a round of applause. All right, we still have Eric, Aman, Raheem, Janaya, and Keshab. Haps is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
We have 10 questions to go. This was one of the new ones, one of the new questions. All right, so 11 people got this wrong. In the 1990s, one of the major themes was integration of the foreigners that were in Denmark at the time. And this was during, actually, this was also during the time that Dansk Folkeparti was created by, what's her name? Pia Kjærsgaard. in 1995. And Dansk Folkeparti was kind of like a spin-off from Fremskrittspartiet, which is the Progress Party. That's the translation in English. And Dansk Folkeparti was elected into the parliament for the first time in 1998. So around this period. And it was all on the back of integration and immigration back in the day. They are still in parliament, although they lost a bunch of seats in the last election. And they also have a lot of competition now with parties like New Borley and actually, no, New Borley. The other ones didn't make it into the parliament. Okay, so 11 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. And I've given a bit of context around what was going on here. There could be questions about some of the information I just shared. So hopefully someone was listening. Let's see. Not much is going on here. Kashab, highest answer streak yet again, 31 correct answers in a row. Excellent work, man. Okay, so Søren Kierkegaard was a contemporary of H.C. Andersen, and they both lived in the 1800s. They did not make it out of the 1800s. This is frequently asked. 10 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Raheem Aslami on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
32 correct answers in a row, so you can tell that he has been putting in work. I've seen his name several times. He comes to the Kahoot sessions, and I hope he has been training on the website as well. Anyway, it shows up in these results. There's 2 correct answers in a row. Round of applause. Next one. FAQ as well. So as you can see, this exam was full of FAQs. I think there's only been like 2 or 3 new questions. But that trend has changed. The number of new questions is going up every year. Okay, so this seems to be a difficult one. What's it? Yes, so a third of all people, of all the employees in Denmark, work in the public sector. That's actually quite large. This is frequently asked. So this is one of the questions you need to know the answer to. There's not much explaining to be done here. There's a huge public sector in Denmark, and that's because of all the admin work that needs to be done in the management of the welfare state. 11 people got this wrong. I was actually expecting less people to get this wrong, but in any case, now you know what you don't know. It's better that you get it wrong now than in the exam. So plug this knowledge gap, okay? On to the next one. Okay, so Eric has fallen off the top. A little movement in this top 5. Aman is now at number 1. Raheem right behind him at number 2. Janaya now on the podium at number 3. Eric fell to number 4. And now we have Tanker at number 5. Allah is the highest climber, up 3 places. All right, next one. We've seen this plenty times. All right. This is an explosion. All right, well done, guys. The last time we came across this question, some people got it wrong, but now everyone got it right. So, round of applause. Next one. This is the last history question. This is also frequently asked. You've seen this before. All right, Henrik Pontoppidan wrote the book Lucifer. 10 people got this wrong, not 8 people. Well, now you know what you don't know. Chapter 5, okay? I say this all the time. You're going to hear me say it again now. Go to chapter 5, make a list of all the authors, artists, painters, sculptors, actors, directors, everybody, basically, musicians, the work they did, when they did that work, and all the work, basically. Also the architects, because they could ask about any one of those. And usually that's one of the favorite places to pick new questions from. Last year, there was a new question from that section of the book. So please make that list. All right. Aman has a streak with 35 correct answers in a row. Aman is number 1. Aman is on fire. And we are also past the halfway mark. So Aman gets an explosion. Okay. We are going into current affairs. I think this is June or November 2020. Can't remember. Anyways, I don't expect you to know the answers to these questions. Pay attention to the themes. I will be talking about the themes as we go through the question. All right, so let's go. This should be a no-brainer. Okay, so the theme here is crises, and it's also state affairs. Okay, so in well, everyone knows about COVID-19, the health crisis, and the government got involved by implementing the lockdowns, and there was a restriction on people, large groups getting together. That's what this question is about. Crises and state affairs. So crises and state affairs, okay? Those are the themes. On to the next one. Okay, so the theme of this is Danish sports and Danish sports people doing well in the world. Karolina Wozniacki is basically the most successful female Danish tennis player. She won a Grand Slam some time ago it was sometime in the last 10 years. And she retired, and that was one of the questions. So also, just to give another example, if a Danish sports person does really well in the world, it shows up. What's that guy's name? Vingegaard, I've forgotten his first name. He won Tour de France, and that showed up in the questions. Recently, I'm not sure if there's been any major news in sports, but there is a current affairs section on the Facebook group where we post all the links. I will be making questions out of, well, a majority of those links that fit the themes. And we will be playing with some of those current affairs links. Anyways, the theme here is Danish sports people doing well in the world. In this case, Karolina Wozniacki retiring. We've got 3 questions to go. So Aller is the highest climber, up 3 places. Next one. This is also relevant. This is from, I think 2019 was an election year. Anyways, I'll talk about the theme here. Okay. So the theme here is elections. And 2019 was an election year. The Social Democrats, well, they won most of the seats, more seats than any other party. And the whole government was made up of Social Democrats. So the prime minister was a Social Democrat, or was a Social Democrat, and all her ministers were Social Democrats. That has changed. The Social Democrats actually increased the number of seats that they occupy in Folketing. However, the current prime minister chose to go a different route. So at the moment, there are Social Democrats in the government. Venstre is also in the government. And what's the last one? Moderatene. So it's a government across the middle. And so far, they've managed to keep it together. There haven't been any major crises. So that could be a question. So elections is the theme here. On to the next one. All right, second to the last question. Okay, so the theme here is major anniversaries. In this case, it's a birthday, and it's the birthday of the Queen. She turned 80 in 2020. This year is the 50th anniversary of Denmark being in the EU. So Denmark joined the EU in 1973. This is 2023, 50 years have gone by. There are also some, I think there's a 180-year anniversary. I can't remember for what. Like I said, I will be creating a current affairs quiz, and we will be playing that in a Kahoot as we get closer to the exam. Up until this point, we've focused mainly on history, because history makes 35 questions. And it would be good if you can score the maximum of 35 and then worry about all the other questions later. Anyways, theme here is a major anniversary. All right, next one. Okay, so what just happened? Who was at number one? Aman was at number one, but he's dropped now to number 3. Raheem took his place at number 1 at the last minute. Eric number 2, Aman number 3, Janaya 4, and Tanker at number 5. SN is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
All right, last question. Same theme. Okay, so Sønderjylland was reunited with Denmark in 1920. That was 100, well, at the time of this question, that was 100 years. Like I said before, the theme here is major anniversaries, okay? And like I said before, this is the 50th year of Denmark's membership in the EU. And there's some other ones as well. Like I also said before, there will be a quiz about that. This is the last question in the Kahoot. Let's have a look at that podium and then at your results. We have Aman at number 3. Eric at number 2. And I think it's Raheem. Yes. I think this is Raheem's first time at number 1. We got Tanker at number 4 and Janaya at number 5.